Next, we're going to talk about method overloading. So method overloading is an important concept in Java programming language. So as in object-oriented programming. So what is method overloading? So two methods in a class can share a name as long as they have different parameter declaration. So let's look at an example. So we have a class called overload. In it, we have a method called display, which takes no parameters, and then it displays nothing. And we also have one more, same return type, same name, but a different parameter. Okay, so it takes the integer x. This time it prints x. All right, so this is what method overloading is. So let's see some examples. Yeah, a class called calc, short for calculator, and also a class which has main method called calc demo. So we're going to define a static method that returns an int and called add. So this method will take two values, integer a and integer b, and it will return a plus b. There you go. So calling this pl, maybe I can say integer x is 3, integer y is 5. Okay, so now calling the add method with x and y. All right, so let's run this. Java C calc demo .java. So small problem, and in order to use the add, we need to, let's make sure this is not static first. And the second thing is I have a object. So calc C is a new calc. Okay. So that should work. Oops, one more. Add. This will be c.add. So Java calc demo. So it returned 8. So 3 plus 5. So I can redefine another function, same return type, same name, but this one should take an integer a, integer b, as well as integer c. Okay, and then it should return a plus b plus c. Okay, so to test this, I'm going to need an integer z, that's 7. Okay, all right, so all we have to do is recall the same function with a different number of arguments or different argument types. Okay, so calling c.add x and y will invoke this function because the parameters match with this one. Calling c.add x, y, and z will invoke this method because the parameter counts match or the types match. All right, so if we go ahead and test this, all right, so here's your turn. Define a function called average, and that could take different set of parameters. So try to write at least 2 average method that takes 2 different set of parameters. So please stop the video here and try it. and then come back and start playing again because we're about to go over this together. All right, so let's see. I'm going to define a function that returns a double that will take, this time it's going to double average. This one will take an integer a and integer b, which will return a plus b divided by 2. Okay, and another version of this double average, this time is going to take the same number of parameters but different type. I'm gonna say double a and double b. Since this line will look the same, just going to copy it from here. Here you go. So same return type, same name, same number of arguments, except the arguments are different. The type of the arguments are different. So to test this, I'm going to need a bunch of doubles. I'm going to say double and k, which is 3.5, and double j, which is 5.1. So we're going to simulate those two. So I'm going to say pl c dot average with, let's do x and y, and then we're going to call this again pl c dot average. This time we're going to say k and j. The order doesn't matter either way. So let's see. Okay, so the first function returned 4.0. If you verify that, which seems like 3 plus 5, 8 divided by 2 is 4. And in this case, 3.5 plus 5.1, that's 8.6, which should return 3.0 to 4.3 as average. Okay. All right. So, and notice that the return type is not is indicated here. So having two functions with two different return types does not make them overload. It will give an error. So the only thing that should be different from one function to another is the number of parameters, or the type of the parameter should be different.